All right, guys. So the older I get, right, the more convinced I am becoming that the Bible is probably onto something, right? They're probably onto something. We might actually be living in the end times, right? And stories like this convince me that could possibly very well be the case, but I don't know. I don't know. Okay. As there's a video on the internet, right, and there's a story that we're gonna get into about a pastor, Mr. Aaron Musser, at St. Lutheran Church of Logan Square in Chicago, who decided to have a drag queen story hour featuring children, right? In which this pastor is dressed up as a drag queen and he's reading to kids. Take a look.
So with many other exhortations, John proclaimed the good news to the people. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated, and I'd like to invite any children or people who would like to see a picture book that I will be showing on the iPad here. Anyone who'd like a closer view of that to come up and sit. Actually, set myself on fire. Come up and sit somewhere on the ground here. I have an awesome story to share with you today. I'm really excited to share it with you. I have a question first, though. Have any of you ever seen a drag queen? No? No? Is this everybody's first time ever seeing a drag queen? Well, hello. I am also a boy most of the time when I'm here, but today I beautiful queen today.
Yes, beautiful.
So, the story that I want to share with you today is called Joy. Does everybody know what does joy mean to you? Yes, what does joy mean to you?
It means like being friendly all the time.
Yeah, being friendly all the time. That's really hard to do, isn't it? Being friendly all the time. Yeah. Well, here, let's start. Let's see joy here. Earlier in the service, I talked about joy as liberation or as freedom to be who you want to be and do what you want to do. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, I would feel a whoosh of joy every time they said you can go to recess. Or maybe you feel a whoosh of joy when I say you can go back to your seats. And in the gospel today, John the Baptist says that Jesus is coming soon. And that Jesus will baptize with fire, separating the grain and the chaff. Do you know what grain and chaff are? I would also think that Jesus wants us to have life and that Jesus wants us to have joy. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Today is our dress rehearsal for joy. And so that we can know how to receive it when it comes. Will you all pray with me? Let's pray.
All right, guys. So I don't know about y'all, right? I don't know about y'all, but something about that just don't sit right with me, right? It just don't sit right. It's something that's kind of uncomfortable to see. Okay, a man who is supposed to be a pastor dressed in drag, like a woman reading to children, right? And you would think that's the most disturbing part, but it sounds like their parents are in the background and that they approve of this, right? That they approve of this reading, right? And what this pastor is exposing their children to. Again, I already did a story about a pastor maybe like a week ago, maybe last weekend, dressing in drag, right? Going to a drag show, okay? I thought that was peak craziness, right? That you would see in the church. But this right here is a whole nother level, right? This is a whole nother level that I had no clue that this stuff was becoming so common, right? It's kind of crazy. But let's read it here because there's a story here. There's an article that kind of sums up why this pastor is doing this. So let's hear him out. Let's hear him out, okay? Because I have some verses off the top of my head that I just don't understand how you can reconcile with dressing in drag. I don't think this is what the Bible tells us that Christians are supposed to be doing. But hey, it ain't my church, right? I'm just saying. Let's read here. A pastor dressed in drag led a sermon for children on Sunday in Chicago. Aaron Musser, the preacher at St. Luke's Lutheran Church of Logan Square, said that instead of telling people how they should be joyful, he is showing them what makes him joyful, arguing his attire served as a dress rehearsal for the ultimate joy experienced upon the return of Jesus Christ. Wait, so again, this pastor's arguing, hey, instead of telling them how they should be joyful, right? These kids, I'm going to show them what makes me joyful, right? So I'm assuming this pastor's saying putting on a dress and makeup and a wig makes him feel joy. And he said that this is what makes me feel joy. So therefore I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to push this on you as if this is normal, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like. Wow. It's unbelievable. Quote, it's been so hard to know what that joy will be because it's been so long since some of us have been joyful. It's been a difficult and tiring couple of years, Musser said, and I decided instead of telling you, this is how I want to be joyful as we prepare for this dress rehearsal. I figured I would instead put on a dress, as so many who have inspired me have done. I decided to follow their example, showing that liberation from oppressive laws clears a path for joy. Wait. I gotta ask this man. I'll be like, Pastor, I'm sure you're familiar with the Bible, right? I'm sure you read it front to back. What do you think about Deuteronomy 22:5, right? The passage that literally says, a woman shall not put on a man's clothes and a man shall not put on a woman's clothes. It is an abomination in the eyes of God, right? That's what it says. Okay, you can look it up. That's kind of paraphrasing it, but that's literally what it says. Is that law oppressive, right? Is it oppressive? I gotta ask, because you're supposed to be a preacher following and teaching the Bible. I don't understand. Again, it's not my church, right? I can't really say anything about it. It's not, again, not something I would be a part of, but I would have to ask, how do you reconcile this, right? Like, how do you make this fit? What type of mental gymnastics do you go through to say that this is in line with what's in the book that you're supposed to be following? But who knows? I don't know, man. Maybe these people, maybe they don't follow the Old Testament. A lot of people say you're not, the Old Testament don't matter anymore. But, I would push back against that because I don't know, man. Jesus in Matthew 5:17 basically said, do not think I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Amen, I say to you, until heaven and earth have passed away, not the smallest part of the letter will pass away from the law until all things have taken place. Now, some people say that that's supposed to be interpreted as, Jesus, he's fulfilling the law of Moses, right? He's fulfilling it, and therefore, the Old Testament really don't matter all that much because we're supposed to be living under a new law or a new covenant. Okay, that's what they say. But I don't know, man. I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm just saying my interpretation of the way I read it. It sounds to me like I don't think we can necessarily discount everything it says. I'm just saying I'm not a biblical scholar. This ain't supposed to be a biblical video. It's not supposed to be about that. I'm simply just saying. I'm just not sure if this is compatible with what's in the Bible. I'm just saying. Children have been increasingly exposed to drag queens in recent years, with several attending drag queen story hours at public libraries, museums, and recreational centers since 2015. Quote, drag queen story hour is just what it sounds like. Drag queens reading stories to children in libraries, schools, and bookstores. The Drag Queen Story Hour website reads, DQSH captures the imagination and play of the gender fluidity of childhood and gives kids glamorous, positive, and unabashedly queer role models. In spaces like this, kids are able to see people who defy rigid gender restrictions and imagine a world where people present as they wish, where dress up is real. Isaac Simmons, known by his drag name of Miss Pentecost, became the first drag queen certified as a candidate for ordination in the United Methodist Church earlier this year. The ordainment process takes 5 years to complete. Wow. Again, I was ignorant as to what's going on in some of these churches, right? One of you guys sent me a message on Instagram letting me know what's up with the United Methodist Church and how liberal they have become and some of the progressive, wings of that church, have kind of taking a hold of kind of the direction of it. Apparently, this is happening in the Lutheran church as well, too, right? All types of crazy stuff. You know, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. But, you know, hey, I mean, listen, when I did my last story about that drag queen pastor that dressed up to go to the drag show to support his daughter, okay, and to try to, I guess, recruit LGBTQ individuals to the church, and the church ended up firing him for that. They was like, nah, you can't do that. I was like, listen, that church can do what they want to do, right? They're a religious institution. They're uncomfortable with it, so they fired him. Okay, I don't really have a problem with it. And although I find this site to be very, very, very disturbing, I gotta say, for consistency purposes here, this dude is the pastor. It seems like parents are letting their children do this. As disturbing as it is, in my opinion, I mean, there's not all that much I can say about it, except I just don't see how you can say it's compatible with what's in the Bible. I just don't see the compatibility. That's about as much as I can really say. Because, again, I said in the last video, I was like, well, I mean, if you want to do all that stuff, start your own church. And this church apparently is cool with all that. Again, I'm not sure how you reconcile this with what's in the Bible. But, hey, who knows? At this point, I'm just not surprised the type of stuff that is being pushed on children. You know, I thought it was something that was just in schools, but it seems now to have kind of trickled down into churches as well, religious institutions. Especially when it comes to this kind of gender fluidity and the ideology behind that. Again, it's one of those things that it really is crazy to see. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.